It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Graham Hill sitting in for Victoria. She will be back tomorrow. Graham will be somewhere around here. He does the 9 to 10 show with Paul Ihander on the radio here in Raleigh. It's called Next Up. I was a guest on that show today. I enjoyed that very much, so thank you very much for allowing me to barge in. We talked Hurricanes hockey. I think that's a wonderful thing we should talk about right now. Ryan Henkel, Hockey News, joins me here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, first preseason game. I'm expecting that you, like I, watched it on our laptops, straining to see who was on the ice, piped in off the Tampa Bay Jumbotron. So thoughts on what we saw last night, sir? Thank you.
It definitely looked like the first preseason game of the season, I'll tell you that. It definitely started slow for the Hurricanes. They got better as it went on. I'll give them credit.
Yeah.
The game did get better. Got more interesting as the game went on. They kind of tilted the ice there in the third. But, as you were saying, just kind of watching on my laptop, and, it's reminiscent of Hurricanes hockey. Not quite Hurricanes hockey, but it's close. It's getting there.
Yeah, and I said this yesterday. I thought the first period Carolina was clearly second best. I thought they got better in the second period. I still think Tampa was the better team. And Carolina had, I think, 9 shots on goal through 2 periods. So that is certainly not Carolina Hurricanes hockey. But it completely flipped in the third. Carolina had all of the good scoring chances. Finally, it took them, which I guess is very much par for the Carolina Hurricanes course, that it took them until very late on when Alexei Himosalmi's drive from the point kind of snuck through traffic, might have been deflected on the way through. I assume it was deflected on the way through. And then Carolina holds on for a 2-1 win. But, yeah, they finally did kind of tilt the game in their favor. Who are the players that jumped out to you? And then we'll go through some of the issues that I was interested in even heading into last night.
I mean, obviously, Pyotr Kochetkov was good in the contest, only 22, stopped 22-23. I mean, it's what you want to see from your goaltender, making saves, doing the right things, even with the team in front of him wasn't playing as well. So that was a good sign. I really liked what I saw from Ronan Seeley. I mean, young kid, played in a little bit in the ECHL and the AHL last year. I mean, 7th-round draft pick, but he's been developing well. He's been proving to be, a really reliable player. I liked what I saw from him, a lot of key blocks, a lot of good moments. I thought, Jack Drury was good. I thought Brendan Lemieux looked like he had some good jump to him. Kind of guys that you expected to kind of have a little more kind of impact with
Sure.
that kind of in that preseason game. But, I thought there was a lot of guys that were just fine. I don't think too many guys jumped off the page. But I thought overall, those were 2 that really stood out to me was Kochetkov and Seeley.
Yeah, I was actually, because there was a delay in the video from the Tampa, from Amalie Arena for their Jumbotron, and the radio call with Mike and Tripp, I was mostly listening to the Tampa broadcast of that. Phil Esposito, hockey legend, called Jack Drury the best player on the ice in the game. I thought Jack was good. I also think that Jesperi Kotkaniemi, and we can make an argument, and Ryan Henkel from the Hockey News is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show, at Ryan Henkel on Twitter. We can make an argument that while I don't think it would be impacted at the beginning of the season, Kotkaniemi and Drury are kind of battling for the same real estate in terms of who's going to center that line with Martin Necas, and today, as you tweeted at practice, Andrei Svechnikov, which I think would be to me, I would like to see that line, regardless of who that center is. But I think Kotkaniemi helped himself a lot. But I thought his 200-foot game was pretty good. And that's the one thing that Rod has been pointing towards with him, is that we need to see all of it. We need to see both ends of the rink. Don't be discouraged when the puck is not going in the net. Get back and take care of your responsibilities. He won 16 to 22 faceoffs last night. I thought there were enough good signs out of Kotkaniemi to be encouraged if you are a fan of the 82 car.
Yeah, Kotkaniemi is a player that I think Rod has talked about this, and is kind of trying to figure out what kind of player he wants to be and how he can be most successful. I think that 200-foot player, we've seen that before. The season he was playing between Necas and Svechnikov, while he was, he got points, he was productive. I also thought he had a really, really strong defensive year that year. I think last year we saw that kind of take a step back as kind of maybe trying to force things, trying to do things because of how unlucky he was or how, badly things were going for him last season. But I think, and I talked to Rod about this too. It's kind of, KK figuring out how he can be most successful. He's large body, 6'3", 200-some pounds. He can be physical. When he's physical, he's such a good player. He's so effective at creating space for his wingers, which, if you have such combination, that's what you want to do for them, create them space, because those guys are game breakers. I think Kotkaniemi is so good in a role where he can, allow good players to be great players. I think he needs to kind of potentially find that role for himself and, accept that, play that, because I think that's when he is, like you said, a 200-foot player creating for everyone else around him. I think that's when he is at his best.
2 years ago, and you alluded to this, at the start of the season, it didn't stay that way forever, but at the start of the season 2 years ago, Necas and Svechnikov were playing on the same line with Kotkaniemi. At the beginning of the year, Necas and Svechnikov were piling up points. KK wasn't getting a ton of goals and assists, but his wingers were, and that's okay. We're not going to measure Kotkaniemi's value by, did he get 60 points or did he even get 40 points? We're going to measure his value by whether or not the head coach keeps him there, because Rod, while I think we could all agree, I think Rod views Jack Drury as the more complete player, right? Because he knows what he's going to get from Drury defensively in the faceoff circle, 55.3% last year. Is the offensive upside there for Jack? Probably not. There is some for KK, but Rod is more willing to rely on, my eyes tell me that number 18 is a better defensive player, and that concerns me more. But if KK could add that other thing, he doesn't need to have points. Command some space in the middle, use 6'3", 205 or whatever he is to his advantage. He can be useful that way, even without scoring. Sometimes I think KK gets caught up, like everybody else does, by the way. It's not unique, to not getting on the score sheet, and maybe he lets it impact the other parts of his game.
100%. Like you said, I think Drury is he's a very good 200-foot player, very good defensively, very responsible, but I think we're kind of seeing he's probably close to what his ceiling could be. I don't foresee him. I think 25 on this point. He's been around a while. He's not this young rookie prospect. It's kind of what he's going to be. And, while he can play 2C to kind of help support guys like Kotkaniemi, I think the ceiling is still out for Kotkaniemi. We can still see that there's more for him to give. He's such a strong passer. He's got really good, hockey sense in that regard. He's really good vision. But it's just a matter of, can he utilize that in a way that's effective? He's not giving up chances the other way.
Can he relax?
3 years ago, I pegged this as, everyone was calling him 2C, but I was like, he feels like a Jordan Staal-esque replacement type player. He's large body, he's physical, he can be an effective two-way center. Like, his defensive numbers his first few years in the league were very, very strong. I don't know, it really slipped last year. I don't even know sort of what kind of went away with him there, but he fits the Jordan Staal prototypical mold so well. He could be such a good player in that regard. Maybe with a little more offensive upside than Jordo, but it's the issue for him is that he was playing on a team with Jordan Staal.
Yeah, and that's also the issue for Jack, who I think his ceiling really is a third center. I don't see Jack as a 2C, and I said all last year that I can't close my eyes and see the Hurricanes winning a Stanley Cup if Jack Drury is playing as Carolina's second scoring center. They need an upgrade in that position. I'm not sure the roster has one right now, so that's obviously a hole that they probably need to address at some point, whether it's this year, through the draft. I don't know, maybe Felix Ungersorm can be that center. I don't think Rod believes that Martin Necas is that guy, and when we have more time, we'll get into some of those other elements. Let me ask you one more thing, Ryan Henkel of the Hockey News. Last night we saw the three scoring, offensive prospects play together for one period, and then Rod went, nope, that is not going to work. So he scattered them. I thought from the start of the second period on, among those three, Bradley Nadeau, Felix Unger-Sorum, and Jackson Blake, I thought Blake was the best of the three. I thought Blake was one of their better players, certainly in the third period, but I also think in the second period that he had some pretty good moments.
Yeah, I agree. I think Blake had a lot more kind of jump off the page moments. He had set up Drury right in the slot for one. He had the assist on the Jaime Salmi goal. I mean, there was a couple moments where he's really showing that offensive upside, that kind of skill, ability to get in close, in tight, take the puck, control the puck. Like you said, the third period I thought was his best period, but yeah, right off the bat, it was kind of what you expect from a couple of really young kids. I mean, that first goal against the Hurricanes lit up. That was those three out there kind of chasing the puck around. Not a lot of structure, not a lot of aggression at the point, types of defensive things you're looking for. So I can understand why Rod split them up. They weren't really generating a ton. And you know, part of Felix Unger-Sorum is that he's playing center for the first time since he was like 14. It's a new position for him, learning what to do. Yeah, it'll come. I think they see him as having that vision, that ability to control the center of the ice, that they want to see if they have something there. So they give him a spin. But like you said, Nadeau, it was a tough game for him. He was trying to do other things. I think he had 3 hits credited. Yeah. He had a block shot. He was trying to do other things because, it wasn't going his way offensively. So I give him credit there. Kid was trying hard, playing hard. Just wasn't his game. But I think Blake did a good job, too.
Yeah, and
it's again interesting of where will it go from here. Rod said today he's going to probably let those kids keep playing, keep trying most of the preseason games from here on out, and we'll see where it goes. I mean, they have the talent. It's just can they take another step within this time frame?
Yeah, I mean, I personally think that, and I said this before, and we'll have to say goodbye here, but I think it's at least 50-50 that none of those three make the roster. And I think it's probably a lot higher than 50-50 if I'm really being honest. I think it's probably a 75% chance that none of those three make the roster because the Hurricanes have veteran players that they can plug in that can fill roles that they need filled. They still are probably another scorer, maybe even 2 scorers short of being a truly great team in the East. But I'm not sure that any of those kids can really provide that and provide what Rod needs to see for them to get 14, 15 minutes a game in terms of average time on ice. Ryan Henkel, Hockey News. He joins us on the Adam Gold Show. All right, man, I will see you out at Lenovo Center, or is it the Lenovo? I don't even know. I'll see you there on Friday.
All right, see you then, Adam.